started my firm about 3 years ago, and we have grown a lot since. It was me hustling at Starbucks and pulling some late night, no, like out of Starbucks. Was working out of a Starbucks, like that was like my office space was Starbucks. I didn't brew drinks. I would get my laptop and I would like sit at the little bistro table for 8 hours. 3 years later, and got a team of 6 people, and we have our own studio space. Well, one, take the opportunity because it was the first paid opportunity, which was exciting. And then, but they were looking to us to kind of help grow, you know,
so okay, so I'm asking very specific questions because we're going to start using things as barometers, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but just throwing it out. How much did you get paid for that?
So we got paid, yeah.
And then what were the requirements?
I feel like for the first one, I feel okay about it because we're exploring, we're figuring out the best way to do it. We're figuring out if this really makes sense for us and we're getting our feet wet. And so for that, I feel like for the experience end of it is totally okay. But I want to know going forward, what is a going rate, what makes sense payment wise, and I mean, at some point we're going to be offering these people a lot more than what they're offering us.
You're absolutely already there, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like they are completely on the freaking upside of this. But you have all the power to, without changing the terms of what you're responsible for or changing the emotions related to it, you guys find wins on the back end of it. There are some people who are getting paid so much money, so much money just to show up at an event and story it.
Totally.
And then there are people who are doing it for free. Now, after you guys have figured out, okay, so we get and you're going to be doing the photo shoots. Are you guys having photographers at the luncheon?
Erin will be there, so she's likely going to be doing photography. Okay. But the details are really unclear at this point on that one. They're still kind of nailing in what it's going to look like. But we've committed to like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something. And that part too is like we're using that as content on our own Instagram. So
total win on that side.
Absolutely.
And so I think that just the scope, now that the contract's already done, is to think how else can we leverage what this exposure looks like. And I feel like when you have carte blanche at like SoCo, which is a beautiful space, it's repositioning you from a place of validity. To me, I would have, if I were in your position, I probably would have done it for free. So the fact that you are getting, the thing that kind of makes me feel a little bit like, ooh, it's like they have you going 3 times. I know. And that's like 3, at the end of the day, no matter what we want to say, it's still a half-day event. You could say it's like, but it's not. It's like the planning that goes into it and blah, 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 blah. So I would probably, that would be like the only thing I probably would have negotiated on, but at the end of the day, it's still a total win. What I would probably do with what the dedicated all to hiring a film person to come through at, well, not all 3 of the events, now the 2 remainder events, but see if you can go back and retrace like what you guys did at Perch or what you guys did over there, and then having somebody there during the luncheon, you create a literal like 45-second to a minute-and-a-half video that just highlights like the Lindye lifestyle, and then that becomes what you do to market yourself to other things. Like people, there's too many designers in this space that do what you do, and yet you found this like little niche of people who are interested, and they're interested in your work, but they're also interested in the person behind the work. So if you know that, and what you're throwing to these other people are attention to that, how can you monetize on the back end? Create your own content to further your brand.
Okay, that's a really good idea.
With the remainder, with the money, it's going to be videographer. And then if you need Erin to really be focused on managing the stories and doing those other things, maybe bringing on like a photographer, an associate. If you can handle it all, awesome, rock it out. But it might make sense to bring somebody for 30 minutes so that those 30 minutes, she's on stories, that other person comes in, you handle all the editing, all the back end. I mean, it's totally, I just feel like if you guys are gonna use this as like potential marketing collateral, then it might make sense to be like, let's just take a wash, let's build out this content from this thing and then renegotiate terms as we move forward.